So I have one freeze dryer tray that I need to fill before I can do my next freeze dryer run. There is something that I have been dying to freeze dry that I have not gotten around to yet. It's an ingredient that I tend to never have on hand, but I use it in a recipe about once a week. So I thought it'd be so nice if I could make it shelf stable in powder form, not to always have to have it in my fridge and let it just go bad. If Walmart has what I'm looking for, it's gonna be over in the dairy section, but how's the egg situation where you live? We're in Alaska, slim pickings on eggs. All they have are organic eggs. Not a terrible price, $6.
They also have cracked eggs.
Oh, sick. I'm ready for the eggs to come back. So the item I am looking for, and I hope they have, is buttermilk. I'm not seeing it. Well, unfortunately they didn't have it. I'm gonna go run to another grocery store and see if they have it there. So I know powdered buttermilk is a thing. I used to buy it in a powdered container, but I have not seen that, at least here at my grocery store, in forever. And I'm like, if the store can make it, I can make it. And it's gonna be better when you make it homemade. Everything just is. All right, we're at store number 2. Let's hope they have it here. Cars to the rescue. They actually have the buttermilk that I am looking for. Here's the door handle. It's way back here, but they have it. It's the reduced fat version, but that is a-okay. If this turns out, I will definitely share with you the recipe that I use buttermilk for like once a week because it is so good. Just a little teaser. So the goods have been secured. Let's get home and I'll show you how I'm gonna get this ready for the freeze dryer. So I'm really lucky they had it there because otherwise I would have gone home and had to churn my own butter to make my own buttermilk. Do you guys do that? I've always wanted to try, but I never have. Let me know if you've been successful at making your own butter. Hello from my messy basement. So this is what I mean when I said that I have one freeze dryer tray left to fill for my run. I have 3 trays here already that are filled with, I can't get that open, frozen ground beef recipes. In my last video, I meal prepped a bunch of ground beef, and so that's what's in there. I just didn't have anything for my 4th freeze dryer tray, and I just was brainstorming on what I could put in there. And I've been wanting to find out if I can make my own powdered buttermilk. So here we go. So my trick for liquids that you want to freeze dry and you're gonna pre-freeze them, I do recommend pre-freezing liquids. It just makes the freeze dryer go more smoothly and a shorter time. I put my tray here and then I'm just gonna pour my buttermilk directly onto my tray there and then stick a lid on it. Pull it out a little bit and start pouring. I didn't want to do an entire load of buttermilk because I'm not quite sure what the results are going to be. So I thought I would just experiment with one tray, and then if it works, I'm gonna buy a bunch of it and freeze dry a ton. For reference, I got probably 2/3 of this carton into that tray. This is a half gallon size, 64 ounces. And I would say about 2/3 of this went into that tray. Now, I know you might be thinking that this buttermilk might end up tasting like ground beef. That's a legitimate concern. We'll find out together if it takes on the beef flavor from the whole freeze dryer process. I think it's gonna be okay, but I don't know. I'm just gonna let this freeze overnight, and then in the morning we will load up our freeze dryer. I'm substitute teaching tomorrow, so I may not have time in the chaos of the morning to get it in. So you might get a guest appearance from Mr. Freeze Dry, who I will have to convince to load up my freeze dryer for me. That could be fun.
Hi guys, just putting all of Brooks Mills into the freezer. Then remember to close the drain valve and then hit continue.
We are currently at 28 hours and my freeze dryer has sensed that the food is done. It has entered its extra dry time. So I'm now gonna do a weigh test, put the food back in, and then weigh it again in about 2 hours and see if there's any changes. I almost had a little mishap because as I opened my drain valve, I didn't realize my drain hose was at the water line of my drain bucket. So I hurried and moved it. I could hear it starting to suction back up the tube, but I think I got it out of there before it messed with anything else. I'm really hoping. I really hope I didn't just mess up my vacuum pump because getting water in it is a big no-no. So after this cycle, I am going to change my oil just to be safe. I am not sure if water got in there or not. I'll have to update y'all when I come back to do my second weigh test in 1 hour. No, probably 2 hours. My freeze dryer is ready for me to weigh it again, but you know what we haven't done in a while? An Alaskan snow check. You ready to go see what it looks like outside? Still nothing. I mean, there's a smidge amount, but it's nothing. And you would think by the looks of it that it had been raining, but no. It's just melting because we've been in the like mid 30s all week. So yeah, it's starting to get sloshy and messy again around here. Kind of a bummer. I'm going to do my final weigh test to see if they are dried. Ugh. We've changed in weight. My meat is good, but the buttermilk lost another 10 grams. I'm gonna take out my meat and let the buttermilk go longer. So these are the 3 trays of ground beef that I made for meal prep this week. Well, not necessarily to use this week, but sometime. We've got the taco meat, the spaghetti meat, and just plain ground beef here. Now I am hoping that they will fit in these mason jars. We will see. I've got more if it overflows, but I'm gonna try to get these packaged up while we wait for the buttermilk to continue freeze drying. So there are certain foods that feel like a nuisance to me to bag up into Mylar bags and jars, but this ground beef, like, it just feels kind of soothing and satisfying when you are just playing with it and breaking it up, almost like that kinetic sand feeling. Not quite as soft, but it's actually very relaxing. I enjoy this process of jarring up the ground beef. Oh, you see me smiling at my neighbor's kitty who came up to the window to say hi to me. So cute. Well, I made such a mess on the floor, but that's okay. So here's what's funny. I was convinced that the first tray I was bagging up or jarring up was the regular taco meat. But then the last jar I was filling, I was like, maybe this is the regular meat. Here's the difference in colors. So I had to do the sniff test. The first jar was definitely the taco meat. This is the plain. I'm kind of figured that out. I'm gonna go get a Sharpie and label my lids so that I know what is in these, because I'm terrible at labeling things and then I forget and then I get mystery food. But what I need to do now is I like to drop an oxygen absorber at the top of these jars and then vacuum seal the tops with my little portable sealer. It just adds extra insurance that your food is gonna stay dry longer. You don't have to use these, but if you're not gonna be using these really soon, I suggest always adding an absorber just to be safe. They're very cheap on Amazon. I have them linked in the description below. I'm now going to use my favorite jar sealer. This is another Amazon find that I absolutely love. You just hit power and you let it run for like 60 seconds and it suctions the air out of your jar. And just like that, it's locked on. You don't really need the ring on, but I don't know, I do it anyway. You know what's cool about this? I bought it about 4 or 5 months ago. I have not had to recharge it yet. It's sitting at 37% now, and I've used it a lot. So this thing's a powerhouse. Here's the totals of everything I got. I have a large jar and a smaller jar of taco meat. This will be great for a Taco Tuesday dinner. All you gotta do is add water to it and you got your taco meat. Love that. 2 large jars of pasta sauce, so this will give us at least 2 meals, if not 3. Same thing, I just add water till it looks like the pasta sauce consistency that I like. Put it on top of noodles and you are good to go. And lastly, I got 1 jar of just regular ground beef. This I always use for adding into chilies. I love meat, ground beef in my chili. So when I want a chili night and I don't want to have to like actually cook anything, everything I can put in my crock pot is from a jar, including the beef, which is amazing. So I'm really sorry you've had to listen to the humming of the freeze dryer. In the background of these videos, it is quite annoying and I apologize. I'm hoping this will be ready in an hour or 2 because I really hope it works and that I can show you the recipe I want to make with it. It's the whole point of the video was the buttermilk, so hurry up. Now I really hope this is the last weigh test that I have to do. All right, let's see here. We're good, we're at 890 grams. That was my last reading, so. I like got quick-handed and shut my machine off. I usually hit defrost and let it defrost, but I hit it off too bad, so it's just gonna naturally defrost on its own, which is fine. You can do that too. So I am going to just package it into a Mylar bag for now. I don't even know how much, I actually have. So we're just gonna see how this goes. I am so happy with how this freeze dried. Totally worked beautifully. It is just a fine dust of a powder. I'm so excited right now. Let's go head upstairs because we're gonna reconstitute this and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna make. It's a very simple recipe in food, but it's a necessity for our Sunday morning breakfast, okay? The whole reason why I wanted buttermilk powder was so that I could easily make buttermilk syrup whenever I wanted to, without having to have fresh buttermilk in my fridge. That's my biggest struggle when it comes to making our delicious, glorious buttermilk syrup. This is literally all you need. You need butter, sugar, buttermilk, and then after everything boils together, you add the vanilla extract and baking soda. And it is the best syrup of your life. If you've never made this, do it. Do it now, because it is divine. I'm gonna start with dropping in a stick of butter, 1 cup of sugar. The ratio that I have found to reconstitute this is 1 to 4. So 1/4 cup of powder to 1 cup of water. The recipe requires 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk. So I'm gonna do just shy of a cup in my measuring cup and then just shy of a 1/4 cup of my powder. And you don't have to pre-mix it together. You can just put the ingredients in your pan and then add the powder at the end and it works great. So here we go. As everything melts together, I'm just gonna let it come to a boil and simmer for about 10 minutes. Okay, it didn't take 10 minutes. It's probably more like 5. You just want it to get a little bit of a caramely color to it, but then here's where the magic happens. We've removed it from the heat and are adding about a teaspoon of vanilla, which is like exactly how much I have left here. And then, watch this, watch this. Dun, da-da! The best part of this syrup is how foamy it gets right when you make it. So I like to serve it over our German pancakes just like this. It gives you a more just like fluffy textured syrup. But as it sits, the foam will settle and then you're left just with this thick, caramely most amazing sugary buttery syrup. Telling you, this is a hit. And I can and do use the hack where you add a splash of vinegar to regular milk and it turns it into buttermilk. That's what I do when I don't have buttermilk on hand to make this syrup. But sometimes there is a vinegary taste to it that I just can't get over. I really don't like that. So this is gonna be the best hack ever. I know in the past I used to buy that powdered buttermilk, but then you have to refrigerate it and it goes bad after a while. And it usually ends up in the back of my fridge and I forget that it's even there. So now that I know I can make my own, it has no additives, no added ingredients, it's just the buttermilk. I'm so excited. And now I need to learn how to make butter and get my own buttermilk from the butter. Do you guys, I think I already asked, do you guys make butter? Can I do it? Tell me, cheer me on. Tell me I need to make butter because I really want to. Okay, and now maybe I need my own cow so that I could get milk and then I can get cream to then make my own butter. A girl can dream. Thanks for hanging out with me on this buttermilk journey. If you want a freeze dryer and don't have one, during the month of February, so we have like a week and a half left, there is a discount code where you can get an extra $100 off of freeze dryers. All of the information will be in the video description below. You can find it there, but freeze dryers are on sale and you get an extra $100 off, which is amazing. We've got to taste it, right? It's so good. I just want to drink it. Heavenly. If you haven't subscribed and you want to see all of the fun stuff that I freeze dry around here, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. Oh, I meant to tell you that this syrup can last like 5 to 7 days in the fridge, probably longer than that. So I just boxed it up in my Tupperware and this will be good for us Sunday morning when we make our German pancakes. My kids are always happy when we get the homemade syrup. Remember, when you freeze dry today, you secure your tomorrow. Bye, friends.